The
Check,
pre-show to
check.
the pre-show.
Yeah, the pre-show to the pre-show. Check, check, 1, 2. We should actually be live now. Um, I'm going to grab the link here, and I'm going to throw this. I'm going to ping everyone in Terminus News. Yup. And I'm going to throw this live link in our announcements with the new thumbnail. And I'm also going to say, of course, welcome to episode number 263 of the Terminus podcast. This is live show number 6, radio show number 6. I'm your host, Ellis, otherwise known as the Admiral. Today we're going to be talking about trains and train news. And let's go around the horn and introduce ourselves. I already said who I am. My pronouns are he, him. Go down the list.
Uh, I guess I go first. I am Kaiserin und Königin Victoria, also known as Victoria. My pronouns are she, her. I'm kind of a thing. Yes, I exist. And that's about it.
All right. Next.
Hi, I'm Tyler. Currently on the server as Rear Admiral. Um, he, him. Your local desert dweller.
Hello, I am Bender. On the server as Rearmost Admiral. I'm the Rearmost Admiral of everything. I'm great. Uh, 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 Pronouns are he, they. There you go.
We have most of the Terminus Horseman Navy here.
We've got the admiral, the rear admiral, and the rearmost admiral, and the Kaiserin. And today, as always, like I said, we're going to be talking about trains and train news. This is our first show with a new thumbnail, first show with a new sort of title that's supposed to be more informative. Hopefully, if this shows up in people's recommendeds, if the algorithm decides to bless us, we will be able to reach a greater audience. We might even have 2 or maybe 3 viewers. But today, we're going to start off with the Class 1 Mantle of Responsibility as per the usual. I will say that the links to everything important, are available down in the description in the cargoes document. It'll give you a link to a document. The links are all in there. The Mantle of Responsibility is where we talk about all the wrecks that the Class 1s and other railroads have had in the past couple of weeks, time since the last show. Starting with CSX. CSX Transportation. An employee was killed in Alabama. The NTSB is investigating. This is their first incident since we reset the table, and of course, it's a doozy. I hope that doesn't sound too insensitive. I don't mean to use the phrase doozy as a goofy sounding thing when someone has died. CSX says our hearts are with the employees' family, loved ones, and coworkers during this incredibly difficult time, and I echo that sentiment. It just says the individual was fatally injured in an incident while performing his duties. 52-year-old Charles Harrison of Mountain Brook, Alabama, and there were no other details that were available to be released. But like I said, this is the first incident of CSX since we reset the table a couple of months ago. On that same day, Union Pacific had a major derailment in Placer County. I don't know what state. Oh, Colfax, California. 13 cars derailed in Colfax early this morning. Train traveling eastbound carrying mixed freight. Nothing crazy. I said it was a major derailment, but there was no fire, no hazmat. It was all double stacks, and they just sort of tipped over. I don't know if it was heavy winds or what. It's certainly been windy lately. And they were working on cleanup by the time this article was posted, so they're doing the business. Canadian National had one individual killed by a truck struck by a train. The truck was on the tracks. It's not clear why the truck was on the tracks. This happened in Memphis, and sitting stationary on the railroad tracks facing south at the intersection when a train hit. No other details were released. No video, no anything. We don't know why this happened. But Canadian national takes the not the blame, but takes the hit on the mantle. CN was the former holder of the mantle responsibility, so they no longer have it. The mantle will pass to, let's see, for whom has it been the longest amount of time? BNSF, congratulations, Burlington Northern
Well,
Santa Fe. Um,
I have a comment on that.
what?
This one may have flown under the radar, and I'm going to put it in the Terminus chat here.
Yeah,
I
we have
remember seeing this
we have
today.
live reporting.
This was a few days ago, I think. December
Massive
19th.
train derailment 17 miles northwest of Cheyenne. Okay, so let me see. When did this happen?
December 19th.
Oh, shoot, this happened 2 days ago. Okay, all right, never mind. BNSF, you're not getting it. This was December 19th. This link is going into cargoes as well. Was this also wind related? Yes.
Yes, it
Yes.
blew the entire thing over. This was in the link dump, and I was like, does this have an article? And is that why it flew under? Because I looked it up, and yeah, it does have an article.
There we go.
I
If it's
think
released or not.
I think the next holder would be Norfolk Southern then.
No, it actually goes to CPKC. Their last incident was not even in December. It was in November. November 29th was their last incident. That got recorded as far as the podcast is concerned. If we missed one, you, dear viewer, are welcome to join our Discord and put it in the Terminus news channel with the appropriate emoji tag. Because that's what I go through and look for when I go to set this up. But until then, until we are proven wrong, or until CPKC ends up doing something else, for whatever reason, I can't get it into bold, CPKC is, congratulations, the current holder of the mantle responsibility. NS didn't have an incident since last time. We do have 2 non-Class 1 incidents. One on the 19th, which was an NJ transit derailment in Montclair, 17 people injured, but non-life-threatening injuries. I think they had a train-on-train collision. I'm not sure how. What's interesting is all of the witness reports are really, really sedate. Photos show damage. Passenger Sean Barnett said the moment of impact felt like a car crash. I had my phone, my bag kind of dropped all over the floor and everything, he said. So, certainly not the most exciting derailment, but thankfully everybody was, pretty much okay. Then we had one the following day, which it's a miracle that everyone else was pretty much okay. Let me switch this into English from Spanish. One of the Mexican HSTs collided with a semi-truck, and the result is kind of brutal. This is the first one that I'm gonna put this up on the screen if everyone... Oh, never mind. It's an AVIF file. I can't put it on the screen. Let me just do this then. Let me share my screen. Again, link to this is available in the cargoes if you want to read about it. Miraculously, nobody was injured, but the cab of this locomotive is gone. Completely gone. I thought there was another photo of the truck. I don't have that on hand.
It's in I think it was in fan chat earlier.
I will pull that up and throw it on the screen. Meanwhile, yous can debate on best rec. Take your votes.
Look in Terminus podcast.
Okay, Terminus spot. Oh, okay. Yeah, let me pull this up. Because, again, by virtue of the fact that nobody was injured, this is my vote. It's certainly the most spectacular, and also it is the most, we saw this
revealing
coming
from... how
yeah.
How paper mache the HST is. They had to save weight somewhere.
It's honestly kind of surprising that it held up that well. If you've seen some of the testing that they did, back in Britain.
What was? Didn't they drive one into a uranium canister?
I don't think it was an HST. I think that was like a Class 43. Not
Oh,
Class 43. Was it Class 37?
44. Oh,
But yeah, these
I know
it gets
exactly the video you're talking about with the canister.
yeah, it gets the HST gets my vote just because this is again the one that everyone saw coming, and according to all information we have right now, thankfully it did not go as poorly.
Oh yeah, I mean we all thought it was going to be a genuine catastrophe. Um, I see an audience member with their hand up, but this person does not have any rank, so I cannot let them into the show. Um, that said,
The only other one that be
other audience members are welcome to join up. If you're listening to this on YouTube, you can join our Discord at theironhorseman.com/discord. That's the Iron Horseman, MEN.com/discord. And if you get your fan rank, you'll be able to join this show anytime you like. What else? Oh, you know what? Great seg from the train wrecks to one of the news items that I wanted to talk about. Back on the 15th, if I can scroll back to it in the compendium of news that we've received, back on the 15th,
oh no.
there was an incident on the good old MBTA on the Green Line. A Corvette, a 2024 C8 Corvette Stingray shut down train service in Boston.
is this the guy who didn't have a license?
Yeah.
Didn't have literally anything, and like the car was stolen or something, and he like parked it next to the platform.
I don't know if the car was stolen, but the driver was unlicensed, the vehicle was unregistered and uninsured, so it's, it doesn't say that the car was stolen, but like every other thing is wrong here. We usually see
Clarkson.
we usually see incidents like this around the MBTA. Actually, this is part of the reason I wanted to use the Ashland camera for today, because this happens with frequency in Ashland on the virtual railfan cam. But
Why is it that it's always Boston?
because
Never
we have
anywhere else. Always Boston.
because we have a lot of tracks that are just in the middle of like boulevards. The Green Line is barely grade separated, so it's very easy to just make a wrong turn and pull onto the track. Now I don't know if this was done by accident. It's a good question. This could have been on purpose, but usually we don't see this nice of a car stuck on the train tracks
In the middle of the road.
It also brings up the question: who's crazier, Boston drivers, Atlanta drivers, or Orlando drivers?
Oh God. I mean, Boston drivers have a very specific way about them. I would between Boston and Orlando, I would probably say Orlando, because Florida man plus people on vacation. The Flying Dragon asks, before I raise my hand, does my question have to be related to train stuff, or can it be anything? I mean, this is a train podcast. I can't help you with, like, if you've got a question about your love life, this probably is not the show for it. But to my other co-hosts, are there any pieces of news that have struck your interest in the past couple of days? Or in the past couple of weeks, I should say. Not the past couple of days. Train news is pretty slow.
There was one.
Go on.
I have misplaced the article, I suppose, but it was that Milwaukee U-boat that's getting restorized.
Oh, yeah. Hold on. I'll look for it, because I remember responding the little Milwaukee Road icon for it.
Yeah, so the Cascade Rail Foundation is cosmetically restoring Milwaukee Road 5057, which is a U25B.
Okay.
So, not operationally restored, but honestly, I can't blame them. I wouldn't want to work on like GE's first, domestically mass-produced locomotive.
Was that really what that is?
Well, the U-25B was the competitor to, at the time, the GP30, GP35, and Alco's C424, C425.
Oh, okay.
Because this was after they split with Alco. Because originally Alco was a Alco GE partnership. They made all the stuff together, and then GE was just like, "Nuh-uh," and left.
Oh, that's something I did not know. I'm not up on my diesel electric
I mean,
builder history.
if they
I'm not
need
making the
original
list.
if they need original parts, I know some place with a bunch of U-25Bs.
Where might that be?
The Meridian Southern Railroad, Meridian, Mississippi. They had, or they have, and they're using them for parts. Two Conrail U-25Bs and two Santa Fe U-25Bs.
Oh, that's interesting.
The
So
Conrail U-25Bs were like their original, like they bought them used from Conrail in the early. Well, actually, not even from Conrail. They bought them from Norfolk Southern in the Conrail paint, and they're still in the Conrail paint. But the reason they don't use them anymore, they're perfectly serviceable, other than the fact that they got rust holes the size of frying pans in them. Is because they have well, Conrail filled the bathrooms with concrete to increase adhesive weight, so the crews won't use them anymore.
And to keep the smell down. Yeah, that was the that's the solution to keep them from using those toilets. You fill them with concrete. Uh, I'll help
So
with the thumbnail. I'm actually quite happy with the thumbnail for this. Sorry, I'm gonna take a diversion here, and I know you were about to jump in, Bender. I apologize. Um, to talk about Tolbrand, and like I'm revamping this show to hopefully get some attention from a greater audience because we're slaves to the algorithm and we need to get the clickbait on, right? Um, but
oh no.
I need to do the same thing to Tolbrand to under construction, and I need to work on the thumbnail for that. I don't know exactly what I want. I've sort of put it to the community. Uh, in the Discord, there is a place where you can download the route, and if you want to take screenshots on the route, I can use those for thumbnails. But really, I want a thumbnail that uh, is that captures in some way the enormity of the Tolbrand project. So Elliot has been one of these people that's wanted in on this, and so he's put his hand up. I'm
And
going to invite him in to talk about this right now.
Hello.
Hello, comrade.
Hello, Alice. Hello, everyone else. Yeah, that I was thinking of that. Like, I was thinking of the thumbnail. I was watching the show on the Terminus show. Hold up, oh, fucking, fucking close it. Oops. Let me see. Let me see the thumbnail again. No, it's very, really good. The thumbnail. I like it. Like it's very good. Other of this show, I really like it because it's like, oh, what can I really say about it? Like, it's very well made. It's very well made.
I appreciate that. I made that in about an hour before we started the show. It was
Oh, in an
the
hour?
the
No,
new.
that's very high quality for an hour.
I appreciate it. Half of that was trying to find the correct frame in Silver Streak to get the background from. I thought, what is the
Oh
most
yeah.
iconic part of the Terminus intro? A thing that sadly we do not have anymore when we're doing the live show. Um, but that's just a testament to how much this show has changed, and I appreciate the heads up that I'm on the right track because
Oh yeah, you are.
it's gotten nothing but praise.
Thumbnails, like it's whole psychology. It's like super weird. Like you need to get attention. You need to get what else was it like? Intriguing, this to be like a lot of things at the same time. And the worst part is that it's hard to like put the whole map in like one singular to show how big it is. But honestly, now that I'm thinking about it, like if you because they made the thumbnails bigger on the home page. So if I think about it, I might be able to work something out. But yeah. Other than that, I have nothing to say.
Well, if you want to play around with it and throw out some
I will
ideas,
play
I
around
am
with it.
happy to see them. Otherwise, thanks for
I
coming
will
on the
play
show,
around with it.
and we will see
No
you again, I'm
problem.
sure.
I will.
Bender, what was it that you wanted to talk about?
I was going to continue with device. So, 5057 was
Mhm.
built in July, I believe, no, it was built August of 1965 as part of the Milwaukee's Order of 12 U-25Bs. Uh, it's a little different. They had several of these types of these U-boats. It gets
Okay.
it's a little bit. It was built as Milwaukee 388, renumbered to 5007, and then renumbered again to 5057.
Why?
A little weird. Why? Uh, something got numbered 5,000 probably, or something. The Milwaukee's renumbering schemes were a little harebrained.
I mean, 5,000 is a real marquee number for these things. Like, I'd love to see a slate of all the different locomotive number 5,000s on different railroads because I bet it's some cool stuff. You know,
Oh yeah.
some revolutionary stuff.
I'll tell you what it was. It was the U-23Bs. Those got numbered in the 5,000s.
The U-23Bs?
Yeah, I remember. I have an entire Milwaukee Road roster. So this is
Can I admit for a second that I'm kind of stupid?
What? Why?
Meridian Southern doesn't have U-25Bs. They have B-23-7s.
Oh, well,
They're still GEs.
it's the thought that counts.
yeah. So they use the same engine, upgraded, but yeah.
Meridian Southern also has a bunch of Mid-South stuff, so that's interesting.
Cascade
To
Rail.
to quote the article, they were used for freight service between Chicago and Tacoma. They were fairly new at the time, so there's no reason why not. And then later, they all pretty much just lived in Tacoma and lives in the Pacific Northwest. And indeed, if you look up many pictures, you will find U-boats pretty predominantly in the Washington side of the Milwaukee
Huh.
from that era. It later went to Webster Technical College instead of being scrapped. Much of Milwaukee's road power right before Sioux Line acquisition was killed, especially the SD45s and a lot of the GEs basically all died. And then it went to Portola Railroad Museum in 1991, and then to the Cascade Foundation in 2014. So now they're going to cosmetically restore it. They were going to originally work with the Penderville Valley, which is formerly a Milwaukee Road line, actually. Yeah.
Cool.
If I'm-
And then, when did you get here? Okay,
Like a second ago. I don't know what's
fair
going on.
enough.
How did you get
And
here?
then-
Oh, because of the council. Because of the council
Yeah.
role. I was gonna say I wanted some heads up, but I gave the council power still because just in case. And of course, why do I give anybody any power at all?
Yeah. You know, I
Unlimited
feel we should
power.
give everybody dispatcher roles, so therefore everyone's on equal terms of power.
Yeah, that'll work.
I'm sure. No issues whatsoever.
We've got
Yeah, so the Penderville,
what was that better?
the Penderville Valley has its own interesting story, but that's for another time. Because of contracted and paid work that they had, they mostly just paid work. They couldn't finish it, the restoration, so they went to Richland, Columbia, with
Okay.
Columbia Rail.
So
Right
this
now,
thing has
they're
been
raising-
passed around a little bit. This has been a work in progress for a while.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So they're presently raising and or wishing to raise $30,000 to finish the work. And if you would like to contribute, you can go to milwelectric.org/donate to Cascade Rail Foundation. A few dashes.
I also put a link to the article in the episode links in the cargoes, which I assume you can access that link through this article. Yes, you can. I will.
I
I will put in the donate link separately so that everyone can see that.
apparently they're planning to take it to display in South Clay Elam, which would be pretty apt. That's like one of there's a substation there, pretty famous, uh, and I imagine it might go somewhere around there.
Like a former
Very
Milwaukee
cool.
substation.
Yeah,
Neat. Um,
very neat.
earlier, to come back to transit and parking on the tracks a little bit. Earlier, Kaiser, and you asked why does this always happen in Boston? Uh, I remember a time when SEPTA was the most famous for transit shenanigans, and of course, SEPTA has really had it in as of late. But they did dodge one bullet lately,
Oh
which
no.
is SEPTA and the Transport Workers Union have reached a tentative agreement on a 2-year contract, averting a strike that the union had said was imminent. Now, I hadn't heard about this particular uh, wrecking ball hurtling towards SEPTA, but it was probably covered in the noise of all of the other wrecking balls. Um, thankfully, they're not gonna have a. Thankfully, they're not gonna have a strike. Uh, wage increase of 3.5% over the next 2 years, or each of the next 2 years. Increases in pensions, night differential pay, tool and clothing allowance, which is really nice to have a tool and clothing allowance when the company pays for your boots. Uh, and improvements to benefits for new employees, including the start of vision and dental coverage after 90 days rather than 15 months. Wow. Yeah,
Oh,
that is a heck of an improvement. Imagine signing on to SEPTA and you need glasses and you can't even go to the eye doctor. You can't have your eye doctor
Right.
visit covered for over a year. That's dismal. Um,
that's dangerous.
yeah, that's true. Uh, we have to be approved by It'll go to the union members for ratification, and then it'll have to be approved by the SEPTA board. The union represents more than 5,000 workers, including bus and rail transit operators. So, and doggone if they don't need a break. So, good news out of SEPTA. The last thing I thought I was going to hear. Uh, Tyler, you had something that you wanted to talk about um, with regard to Steam preservation. Uh,
Yes.
and before you say that, I will say one more time for the audience, if you would like to join us, we are live now on our Discord. You can reach our Discord at theironhorseman.com/Discord, or the link in the description, or the link in the cargoes document. And if you get your fan ranked, you can jump right on the show anytime you like and talk about railroad news with us. So, what's been going on with rail preservation, Tyler?
So, in rail preservation, we have a lot of new builds, right? A lot of new builds steam across the world as it figure out that yes, there are ways you can build a steam locomotive in the 21st century. It is also, as of time recording, the time of year when a very jolly man comes flying around the world, making certain radar stations very angry at him, and gives you gifts.
Well,
Now,
he
what's
gives
a
me
better gift?
coal.
Is that not a gift?
Well, I guess it is.
Just bring that up to you to Sheepscott. Um, what's a better gift than several tons of steel?
I can't think of one
Two of
better.
the organizations that we've been tracking for a while have gotten several tons of steel recently. Um, first up, this is December 9th. The P2 Steam Locomotive Company of Darlington have gotten their second boiler from Meiningen in Germany, which has kind of been it's been a process. Because for those of you who are not that familiar with them, the P2 Steam Locomotive Company are the same guys as Tornado, the A1. Um, and because of that, the redesigned the Gresley P2 to accept the same boilers type as the A1. So what they've done is they've contracted out with Meinecam in Germany, which is under Deutsche Bahn still. Um, one of the few plants in Europe that can still make a steam boiler. And they will eventually have 3 of these. They'll have 2, one for each locomotive, and one as a spare that they will overhaul while one of the engines, well, both engines are operating, have the overhauled boiler ready for when one engine goes out of service. They can swap the boiler on, and then the boiler that they just took off, they can get back to overhauling. Um, However, this has been kind of an issue of Minningham has had problems stemming from COVID. That's kind of knocked down the timeline. Originally, the plan is to have the P2 operating this year. Um, However, only now are all the pieces really together. As the latest photos from the shop show, they've got the boiler, smoke box, the frames, the monoblock cylinder, which is instead of a casting, actually a bunch of castings and sheet metal, not sheet metal, plates welded together. It's a massive weldment.
I'm working on getting these photos up on screen for everyone to see.
And the tender's there. Tender with a jolly gingerbread man.
Have a holly
And
jolly
all they need,
Christmas.
yeah, all they need now is to raise the capital necessary to pay off some of the stuff that they've done because they've been a little bit slow on fundraising recently. But they have been able to pay out of their capital funds for a lot of this work. They need to now spend the money on building the Caprati valve gear, or I guess
Hell
it's
yeah.
um, but they have to design and construct that still, and then that's going to be their last major piece, and then it's all just the little things. So hopefully the hope and goal of this is to have it running in the next 3 years. Um,
Shoot. Okay.
Thankfully, because again they have all the major pieces together, it's should be pretty achievable. They need to change some stuff on the tender tank to match Tornado, because they are Tornado famously about a year ago became the first locomotive fitted with ETCS, European Train Control System, um, and they need to fit in an actual cabinet into the body of the tender to house that electronic equipment.
Which
Um,
sounds a lot better than what Union Pacific did when they put PTC or whatever in 2014. And
yeah,
just stick a big old console right in the middle of the cab.
well, I think they'll still have a console in the cab. It's just not going to be the, oh, we took a whole brake stand off of a diesel.
Okay, but can it run
Well,
Doom?
oh
Yeah, of
god.
course it can run
Uh,
Doom. You can run
Let
Doom
me pull up the. There's a
on
meme
any.
that's been thrown around of somebody playing Fortnite on the brake stand.
The
Um,
the thing I think about with the P2 and it having and Tornado with it having the European train control system on board is that Europe and Britain is or Europe as a whole seems to do it a little bit differently than we do. When we do it, we put a diesel control stand in the middle of the cab. When they do it, they hide it, which is as you should do. You know, it's like on I believe it was the when they were running the K4 like in the 80s or whatever, and the K4s weren't built with speedometers, but they had installed a speedometer, but they had hid it behind the brake controls or whatever, so only the engineer could actually see it.
Well, because if you can't put a speedometer in a Pennsy engine, it goes against the natural order of things. They had to hide it.
odd.
Um, they have a speedometer. I saw WWF9 got a new speedometer last time I was up there.
You go fast enough in those things to need a speedometer?
No, but we do have slow orders.
Yeah, and also have did you talk last time about the southern extension?
Yes. So
Okay.
that's coming.
Yes.
Well,
And that means the feds are coming.
yeah, the feds are coming.
The redcoats are coming. The redcoats are coming.
Actually, now I'm confusing myself. Did we get a speedometer up there, or I'm thinking of they? All of the engines at Essex also got new speedometers.
Oh,
Um,
Oh
Mew
no.
wants to be let in. Can I let
oh,
Mew in?
Muse got a piece of Muse got a piece of news, perhaps. Muse news. Hello, Mew.
Da,
Welcome
da,
to the
da,
show.
da.
Welcome.
News, villager news.
What's on your platform?
Um, well, I was about to say I remember it being at the speedometers at Essex, but then you brought that up already.
Yeah.
Um, I suppose I can bring up. Where had I posted it? I had posted one bit. Um, I suppose I can bring up the bit I had posted about what would potentially come with the UPNS merger, unless you want me to wait for a better segue into
Oh
that.
Jesus. Yeah, we do probably need to talk about the elephant in the room that is UPNS. Um, let's let's finish the current diatribe, because there
Yeah.
is one other big pile of metal that is not the P2 that Tyler was alluding to. So, uh,
Ooh.
Mew, we'll come back around to you in just a minute.
So the other pile of metal that did arrive before Santa's sleigh is taken off is it's a wheel. It's actually two
It's
wheels.
two wheels. Yeah.
They're two very fast wheels for a thing that we all know and we all love. The leader
Love
of the
and
natural order, the Penzi T1.
love in quotation marks.
No, love not in quotation marks.
So they finally got the last two of their 80-inch drivers, cast by McGuire in trying to remember if this is Ohio or Pennsylvania, I believe. Um, they some of them have because with the donations, if you donate a certain amount, you have your name cast into there on the rim. So there's I think that there's a family that thankfully helped pony up the significant sums for these. So they've been honored on there, and hopefully these will be going along and getting tires put on them pretty soon. Because the wonderful folks at FMW Solutions have figured out and finalized the design of the actual axle boxes and the whole geometry there. Because these are roller bearing main axles, and so they kind of have a weird setup versus your traditional axle box with a crown brass. So it's a fun little assembly that hopefully the T1 Trust will be building next year. But now they have all of the fun large parts on the outside of that
Yep,
they can
they've
put
got the
together.
frame, they've got the boiler, they've got the smoke box and the cab, and oh man, it's great. I mean, it's amazing that we are here, right? These are the last two drivers. Uh, Humongous pieces of metal, as evidenced by the photograph I have up on screen. They're really big. It's also a great shot of a box pock in a way that you don't normally see. You can see where it's hollow inside. Um,
Yeah,
that's
which
that's
is
really neat. Let me see if
it
I can.
is
Yeah,
Finally, roller passenger.
I'm gonna throw
yeah.
this in the Terminus podcast channel. What I need to do, actually, total sidebar, I need to make, I think, a foam pit level thread for this stuff, so that we can post stuff in there and all the audience members can see it automatically without me having to pull it up on screen, whether or not they have it, whether or not they're watching the version of the stream on the Discord or the version of the stream on the on the on the YouTubes there. Uh,
Yeah.
so that's a thought for the future.
Well, Tyler, that's
What
exactly how I had imagined the system working, but for some reason in my head I said, no, it couldn't be that simple. It couldn't be that the roller bearings are pressed onto the axles and the axle sits in the axle boxes. It couldn't be that simple. No, the axle has to be pressed inside the roller bearing and then the roller bearing pressed inside the driver. It has to be
Yeah.
that.
Well, it's also there's a whole the boxes themselves are not necessarily separate because of how roller bearings are in alignment issues. It
Oh
has to
yeah,
all
that's
dance
true.
together, so it's real neat. It's different. You don't see this on a lot of engines. Um,
Is this an original design, or are they modifying it to be like this?
it's
Did the T1s have roller bearings on their drivers originally?
the T1s originally did have roller bearings on their drivers. I don't know if the castings are the exact same design. Um, Probably there are slight differences, especially when it comes to the some of the smaller geometry, just to make the casting easier.
Yeah,
Um,
so it's modified for more ease of production with modern equipment.
yes,
It's
and
not a very major change, just enough to make it easier to produce.
as is most of the things with the T1, because as much as they are trying to make it a modern engine that will run well on the mainline circuit,
And
um,
crush the speed
they're
record.
they are also trying to keep it as close as possible to the original spec. They didn't try to streamline any of the steam passages, even though they made, as I consider them to be Mad Lads for, they're making the cylinders out of welded pancakes of,
Yeah, it's laminated plate, right?
yeah,
Like they're
effectively.
laminating layers and welding it all together and then machining it out.
Well, they're machining them out the layers first, and then they're gonna weld them together, which is
Oh no, that
it's
sounds bad. I
that's a
mean, just
lot of.
imagine you get a weld bead or whatever inside the cylinder, and then in service the piston hits that weld bead, pops it
Well,
off, and all of a sudden you have exit point for
You
the
get a
steam.
dingleberry in the cylinder.
the
Angry
thing with it is
Pete.
they're gonna put a sleeve in, so
Oh,
none of the weld will be touching the piston rod. Um, it
He, he did
still is
he did
something
what in
that,
his rod?
oh god, it's something where, having gone through a weld engineering class, I'm still slightly concerned on some bits, but if it all maps out and they do the inspections as they should, it should work.
and see,
You're just
I had gone through a machinist course, and in fact that's what I went to school for. I have the certificate sitting on my behind my bed right now. But I just think, well, thinking about it, a sleeve would make sense because then you wouldn't have to bore a new cylinder. You just replace the sleeve.
yeah, and that's traditional railroad practice. You would see some locomotives, um, where they will, when the cylinder is originally cast, it has a raised section in the middle of the casting that it would be the same diameter as the sleeve, and then once it wears out, you would then go and do a long boring operation to clear that out to the overall inner diameter, and then you put a sleeve in.
Yeah.
But if you're doing this in preservation, it makes sense just to put the sleeve in, especially with how they're manufacturing it.
And uh, when they first started doing this with the T1, I thought to myself, this ain't gonna work because it's a T1. It's the look. I mean, I like how the T1 looks. I don't think they were good locomotives. I think they look cool. The duplex drive design is my big hangup, and the fact that the only reason they exist is because Baldwin messed up the math.
Yeah,
Uh,
well, the R1, it proved to them they had to make a duplex. They didn't,
yeah,
but
but they made a very cool looking locomotive that would have been just as good, if not better, if it was a 484. But
them's fighting words.
well, it's an iconic
We
locomotive.
have to
I
throw
will
it
say
down.
that it will make it. Look, I would much rather them have. Well, I'm glad they're building the T1, but I would much rather them have built, something a bit more like say a Milwaukee Road F7 or something like that. A locomotive that we don't really have. Well, we don't have any Pennsylvania Railroad locomotives either.
I mean,
Well,
we've got a good sampling of PRR locomotives, but certainly not of these. I will say, I just want to go back to the P2 for a second, because the diagram of what is P2 and what is a tornado on the P2.
Nothing is.
This is
P2.
mostly tornado.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the frames are P2, and that's it, and the running board, and
Uh,
the what was the exhaust system the P2 used? It wasn't Killchap, was it?
I think it was Kyle. Yeah, I think it was Kyle.
It was Killchap. Well, I've always loved how the P2 looks, specifically because the A4 was supposed to look like this.
Oh, if the A4s looked like this, I would have been happy.
The A4s were meant to look like this and have the same style of streamlining. But you know the story about somebody dropping the wind tunnel model and it smushing the front end down and it working better? That's how the A4. That was.
Oh,
true.
tell me
how
that's
the
not a
A4
real.
was done.
Tell me that's apocryphal. That's ridiculous.
No, somebody dropped the wind testing model, and it smushed the front end, and it worked better than what Grizzly was going for. And
All right, I'm just gonna say to all of our
that-
viewers: don't believe everything you hear on the internet.
and the weird thing is if I can ever find the diagram again, Grizzly also designed a Prairie, a 262, with the same streamlining.
All right, I've found my new least favorite locomotive.
Okay, but now
Streamlined Prairie, Ellis says no.
So
okay, but
one thing I
just
noticed
want
is that this
to-
is a Mikado, and I would like to represent the actual best passenger engine Mikado.
Oh God.
It's a
Which
D50,
Japanese
isn't it?
engine do you mean? Ethan?
Yes.
Yep.
Oh, the D51. Okay.
Let me
um,
find. I've got that picture saved.
We're
in my
not
camera
we're not
roll.
doing passenger Mikado versus today. We can do that.
We
Listen,
do, we
if
could.
this
We
if
could do
this if this goes well, if this format goes well, we start at 5 o'clock Eastern. We have gotten a decent amount of attention. Like we got up to I think 3 viewers at the same time. No, actually, yeah, we did. We hung at 3 viewers for a little while, which, given how things go, that is actually kind of a success, right? I've always been worried about like the timing of the show. What is the best to grab attention? But the real question is like, we need to start early enough so that we can go and stop the show and do the post show of the Royale or of in the future other variety of Loco games. And if this goes well, then we'll do this on the regular. We will do news and then stop the recording for a couple minutes to get our ducks in a row and then play Loco games. That's how I want to do it.
Do you
So-
like your new least favorite locomotive? I posted the diagram in the Terminus chat.
I'm gonna put this up on
So it
the
was a
screen
V2.
for everyone to
Thought so.
see this heinousness. I'm not putting the D51s up. Everyone already knows what that looks like. And if you don't, Google it.
And it is literally a short P2. He took a driving axle out. Well, actually, I think
Yeah.
this predates the P2. So the P2 is a long V2
This is the P1.5.
because
This is-
it's got the karate valve gear. It's got dual exhaust. It's just a 262.
I hate this. Why do you need this? Why would you need this?
Same reason they needed the B1 or no B17.
To bomb the
And
Germans?
even then the B7
To bomb the Japanese.
LNER B17, and even then that was too heavy for the branch lines it was designed to run on.
So I know the Tornado guys said they're building a Grizzly V4 next.
Based?
But if any of you are
What?
listening, I would like this instead. Can we please get this?
Oh no.
I mean, you could make a V4 like that.
Instructions unclear. Now you have a Bong Ted A4 instead.
No, no. If we're new building anything, we need to new build one of these.
Oh no.
This is why we.
Yeah, yes.
No, we're
What
not
are
new building
you?
a C-53.
Yes.
That's a goofy
No,
looking
it's a
Civic.
C-52.
Yeah, same
Well,
thing.
Alco.
I will say that I would like to see a new build. Well, what's it called? A new build 310 that fixes Goldsdorf's design problems.
Don't we have a surviving 310 though?
There is a surviving 310. There's two of them actually, but there's a problem with the 310. The system of compounding it uses and the piping, it chokes itself of steam. And the reason that locomotive with 84-inch drivers can only do 60 miles an hour.
Well, if you've got two of them, make one the experimental.
Well, as they've proved with Duke of Gloucester, any problem
the-
can be solved.
Well, the other one is Plinth in Poland.
Well,
Oh,
We take
guess-
that one.
yeah, I guess we'll have
I'm
to
not-
go to
I'm not-
Poland.
Look, I'm not stealing anything from Poland. I'll gladly steal the running one from Austria, but I ain't touching anything from Poland. So
Yeah.
kill me.
Okay,
you
so
get
we
home
wait
and turn
for-
around and there's like a column of tanks following you.
No, it's just a Polish mob waiting on me.
Anyhow, okay, do we talk about this then, Mew? Should I give
guess
I
I can.
this
I
man
can
the floor?
speedrun it.
The elephant can talk now.
That's not a nice thing to call our friend Mew.
No, I'm talking about the situation. Mew is the voice for the situation.
The voice of the elephant.
I am the
You,
harbinger
Mew,
of
you are the
doom.
lawyer. Why did you give us a 5,000-page document?
Oh no, it's a lot more than 5,000, Tyler.
8,000 page?
I
I
had 6.
7,000,
Oh,
6,500.
jeez.
somewhere.
all right. Well, hold
That's
on. Best Price is Right rules. everyone, put your guesses in. I can't
$1.
actually find the original number. I did hear 7,000.
Oh. Okay, hold up. I just busted the fattest nut.
What? No,
Oh,
you can't be doing that on the show. We can't. We're live on the internet.
Straight to jail.
70, my beloved. With
Okay,
5134
we're
Wow.
trying to talk about the continuing story of the Class 1 meltdown. I need you to put it away and stop just like staring at Japanese engines.
And put the
I have a
picture of
very
the
weird
Japanese
theory
engine away
about
too,
you.
Beast.
I have a very weird theory about the UPNS merger.
It's going to go poorly.
That, but I also think that the merger is in retaliation of CPKC buying Meridian and Bigby.
Oh, really? It's
Yeah,
that's
because
the spark.
CPKC bought Meridian and Bigby and is planning to run intermodal trains to interchange with CSX.
I thought they were
Before
already doing that.
Yeah, that
I
they
know.
just run.
I know, but they were going through Norfolk Southern to do it. They would hand off the trains in Meridian, and then Norfolk Southern would take them to CSX. Now they've cut Norfolk Southern out. They're just going down Meridian and Bigby. So
And-
in retaliation, Norfolk Southern has said, you know what? No more Speedway. We're gonna merge with Norfolk. We're gonna merge with Union Pacific, and we'll just bypass you completely.
I mean, I do think there's something to that, at least on the large scale, right? It is. We hadn't had a significant railroad merger in. I mean, really, like, our lifetimes, right? Like, when was the last major railroad merger?
The 90s?
Okay,
The
yeah,
90s.
so basically our lifetimes. And then CPKC happens. And, I mean, that we covered that on the show. The sort of course of events there where it was, oh no, CN's gonna buy, nope, CP, no, CN. And then we finally got what we got. And it really
and
does
then-
seem like, oh, wait, we can get away with, we can do more mergers? Let's do more mergers.
Yeah, but the weird thing is that my prediction is this: it's not going to work, but it's not going to fail in the way that people think it's going to fail. It's going to work for about 5 years, and then we're going to have a conflict of like loading system or whatever. You know, it's not going to be like the intermodal stuff is going to be fine, but we're going to have contracting issues because Norfolk Southern contracts with a lot more industries than Union Pacific does. I'm pretty sure,
I think
and
it's
not just like your large industries. I'm talking about the small stuff too. Like Norfolk Southern still has spurs that run off into the middle of nowhere to like some little sawmill, you know, out in the middle of in the middle of woods, and they still
Oh,
run their.
oh, so you're saying a lot of the disasters gonna be non-renewal on UP's part of those contracts?
Yes.
I
So
wouldn't doubt it.
Oh
UP
boy.
is
I
going
wouldn't
to
doubt it.
be UP, and they're going to cut these extra quote unquote contracts, and then suddenly the profit that Norfolk Southern was making to prop itself up is suddenly going to be gone, and
Ah,
Union Pacific is going to be bent over, you know, lopsided like a tree where all the fruits on one side, and then the Norfolk Southern side is going to wither and fall off and get bought up by smaller companies.
I
That's
mean,
how I think it's going to fail.
we
I
do
don't think it's
see.
going to be
Transcon is
pure.
whole
Yeah,
again, then
we
it
do see
broke
that
again.
that sort of thing happening, right? Because like these little spurs that go off in the middle of nowhere, they really don't make a lot of money for these companies, for the class ones. You know, the what's the word? The operating ratio isn't there, and
Yeah.
it's the the bigger the company gets, the easier it's going to be to for them to consider just lopping off stuff and closing stuff. I mean, I was reading a report from the other day of some business owner up in Michigan, uh, like right, I think it was in Lansing, like right attached to the yard, and they were saying, oh, they dropped our service from 5 days a week to 3 days a week, or 7 days a week to 3 days a week, something like that. And it's just this merger isn't going to be like bad for UPNS, but it's going to be bad for all the people that ship with them that aren't intermodal, you know, that aren't just doing big container trains. You know, everyone other
Yeah.
than Maersk is going to suffer. Uh,
Well, the thing is that I think the people who are going to, it's going to be in a weird way a boost for short lines because all these people who do, you know, shipping by rail and they get lopped off from UPNS, they're going to have to, they're still going to ship by rail because it's the cheapest way in bulk. So they're going to go to the local short line instead. So,
well,
say for instance, you own a business and you're shipping by rail, and you're right, and you have a local short line. They have trackage rights or whatever to where you are, but you usually ship by the big railroad. Big railroad cuts you off. You go to the next best thing because your train still your cargo is still getting shipped by the big guy. You just go through the short line instead. You
yeah, I
pay
mean,
them a little bit, and they make them. You know.
once these cars get into a major yard, they're usually pretty much home free. Uh, but yeah, no, it's the terminal switching that's the losses, and a lot of these short lines have been sold off to, or a lot of these branch lines have been sold off to short lines, or have been sold off to sort of
The
conglomerate
great,
short lines like G and W.
the great, yeah, the
Uh,
great orange and yellow caterpillar.
yeah, uh, but no, I know that you came on here for with a specific thing in mind, not just the general problem with UPNS, which we'll really see how this thing shakes out. So, what is it specifically that you wanted to talk about?
More about their macro projections, which you guys did mention some assets of it. Um, Specifically, what they project they'll need. So, short story, they anticipating not needing to buy any new locomotives eventually or freight cars. Their plan is to store a bunch that they have that are currently running after the merger, and they anticipate by year 3 that there will be enough traffic growth to take a number of those locals out of storage. And the same thing for freight cars as well. Um,
NS owns
they
its own freight cars.
sorry,
Yeah,
Or
NS owns a
NS
lot of its
owns
own
their.
freight cars.
yeah,
Oh, I thought everything was leaser now.
No, NS owns a lot of hopper cars and box
Oh
cars.
yeah, the ex Southern maintenance away
No,
ballast
not
cars.
even like
not just
yeah. No,
that.
I mean like
The
the
main
100-ton
Oh,
Bethgons or whatever, or they own a lot of box cars as well. I see them a lot on the FEC.
Stuff
oh,
that ends up in unit train service tends to
Mhm.
like railroads like to own that. It seems you'll
In
see a
this
lot of
case,
BNSF owned covered hoppers on big unit covered hopper trains, for example. Go ahead, Mew.
in, in this case, it looks like the anticipated leader in increased freight car demand will be auto racks.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Let's see. By year 3, however, the combined railroad anticipates it'll need an additional 5,795 cars in its active fleet, an increase led by autoracks at 1,350. The additional rolling
I
stock will come from the current fleet. No new car purchases are anticipated.
I doubt that significantly.
I mean, doubt it in what way? You don't think they're going to need 1,000 new auto racks? Because yeah, I don't either.
No, specifically because the FEC has been told to specifically store extra auto racks because they have nothing to do with them. I remember for a period of a month there were maybe 100 something auto racks just sitting at the FEC yard because they were getting paid to store them because nobody needed auto racks.
Huh.
Well,
Now,
give it
at
a
least.
give it a few years. I don't know. This is what the accountants do for a living, right? They figure out these things. It doesn't mean they're right, but uh, I I just the fact that UPNS is like, yeah, we're gonna have 7,000 locomotives in service. We own 9,000, so yeah, we've got a couple thousand engines in storage. So we'll just pull some out of storage when we need them. Nobody's buying new locomotives anymore. It's crazy. It's insane. It's
well, they are right. I mean, nobody is buying new locomotives anymore. Nobody's really manufacturing them either. I
uh,
mean,
Well, yeah, the
it's
issue is
either
just no one's manufacturing them. I'm sure Class 1s would love to get rid of Jeeps, GP15s, GP38s, GP35s, GP40s in exchange for something more fuel efficient. However,
no,
the only things that have come out, like the gensets, have been utter garbage.
no,
They
I
still
don't even I don't agree with that. I think they are perfectly happy to hang on to the old junk because it doesn't have to meet the emission standards. And
well, yeah,
that's
that's true
you know
too. Say it's like
Plus,
an
they don't
old
have to
car.
put. Plus, they don't have to pay money buying new ones if
yeah
they can just run
And
what
I
they
mean,
have into the ground.
it's like owning an old car. As long as the chassis is built in the '60s, you can put you know a giant like mail truck diesel engine in it and modify it to roll coal, and you still don't need a catalytic converter.
yeah because they're
Yeah.
No,
they're
but
they're
I
under
think
old
y'all are
regs.
underestimating how much roads care about fuel efficiency.
Oh,
Well, yeah, that's
they're
true.
gonna
I mean,
squeeze.
Big. That's the big thing. If they can get an engine that's even, let's say, twice as efficient as a GP15, roads are going to eat that up because it'll pay for itself based on how much fuel these engines burn.
I
well,
mean,
yeah,
I don't
because they
know.
sit there idling in the yard and they don't move because they're stuck behind the guy in front of them. But or Amtrak. Uh, but
Freight
the
train stuck behind Amtrak. What world is this? I wanna visit it.
anyway, the thing that pops into my head with fuel efficiency is I don't think you can make a diesel engine more fuel efficient than what they got.
Oh, I'm sure they could figure it out. Well, I mean, like
You'd
the
be
tier
quite
fours, the
surprised.
new stuff. Like there is new stuff out there. There are new locomotives in existence, but
Yeah, they're all built in Europe,
they're not
and they only work in Europe.
they're not. Well, I mean,
No, that's incorrect.
we need
GE's Tier 4 Gevos are doing remarkably well. BNSF and UP have like orders for like thousands of them.
So
Well,
they're trying, I guess.
speaking of BNSF,
Uh-oh.
the grapevine says something about only GP60s and like what the B40s.
Yeah.
Yeah, I also don't believe that at all.
Wait, what? Hold on. Elaborate.
So
Someone from BNSF has apparently leaked that they're going to retire all 4-axle power except for their GP60s and B40-8Ws by 2029.
Okay, we'll see about that.
And the grapevine says that if you will not upgrade your industry to support 6-axle engines like an SD40, we're not going to serve you as a customer anymore.
Well, see, that part I can believe.
Yeah,
That
but
they will gladly, we'll come right back to the beginning. They will gladly screw over these little industries that ship with them because they don't make enough money off of them. And that sucks. That really sucks.
the money is in bulk transit.
Yeah, one of the things that I wish was a more popular political football for local politics is rail subsidies. Like, I feel like if they exist, and I'm sure they do exist in places, we really don't hear about them at all. But it's just like we already pay so much, out of our pockets, via tax dollars, etc., for like all the roads and airports and ship ports and everything like that. It's like we could do to cut some subsidies for, and I understand it's not a necessarily appealing idea to give more money to the class ones who already have more money than God, but like give money to encourage rail shipping in some way, and whether that is directly paying, subsidizing infrastructure, or giving tax cuts to the railroad, or like paying the shippers.
I know how you do this.
How?
You take all the taxpayer money that's paying for all the roads, and then you put it all into the railroad. Because then the roads will be so crap that you can't transport anything on them, so you'll be forced to do it by rail.
This seems to be exactly what Rydot is doing.
Outstanding move.
I don't usually take cheap shots at Rydot. That was just a fun opportunity.
That explains many things from the trip.
Okay, but hear me out.
Is like that
Bring
too.
back Providence and Worcester service to in front of Seaplane Diner, Mango Gobble.
Yes, I agree. We need street running. We actually need to subsidize Shake Shack, because then they might be survivable.
Oh no, no.
No. We need to subsidize Nick so he can survive Shake Shack.
And here we are talking about Gevos on stacks, and no Nick on this podcast. How upsetting!
Yeah.
No
But
Nick
I will
on
say-
Shaq.
As somebody who's not from up there, who's never been to Shake Shack, is Shake Shack one of those local joints that it's the best food ever, but it gives you the worst food poisoning?
No,
Shake
it's
Shack is
a
not
chain,
local
and they're
joint at all.
fine.
It's a national chain. We have
Yeah.
one in
Yeah, we
South
have some out here.
Oh, I've never been to Shake Shack before.
It's
We were gonna
Five
go there
Guys
for
and
Nick's.
The other one, it's burgers and shakes. It's really hard to go wrong. I just don't know what happened with Nick.
Yeah, no, there was some something in that food.
What I will say on the point of bulk shipping versus how to get all the locals in,
Mm-hmm.
we had this conversation maybe about a year ago. So, reciprocal switching agreements.
Oh, thank you for reminding me. I was going to talk about this. That's what, that's the Kaiser, and that's your ideal right there. These people should be able to switch from the class 1 that doesn't feel like switching them 7 days a week to the short line that will do that gladly. And as much as I goofed on reciprocal switching back when it was first brought up as like a potential thing, that's what that is, and that, it's a good idea.
Mm-hmm. We haven't seen much moving on that front, which is kind of sad.
No, it's all been
Well,
buried
'cause-
under the continuing story of the Class 1 meltdown.
Well, I think
got-
class ones would also rather just let an industry die and let reciprocal switching happen.
Absolutely. It's one less carload they have to move.
Well, the other thing is, it means they're letting another railroad take profit from them, where they rather have no one have the profit instead.
Yeah.
You know, it would be it kind of sounds like somebody needs to explain to them, like, hey, if you kill all the industries, you don't make any profit either.
No,
Oh.
they'll still make profit off intermodal.
Yeah, they've got unit trains of coal and grain and intermodal traffic, and I think for
They
And
will be
oil.
happy to let everything else die.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And oil, and if that
If
was
they
all
don't-
there was, the class ones would be perfectly happy.
If they don't control it, they don't want it to exist.
So to come back to the tax dollars thing, obviously, the best source is to take all the tax dollars from the roads, and then just use it to buy the railroad, and then you get a Vermont rail system, which is cool.
Cincinnati did not get that memo last year.
Cincinnati makes me mad.
Pain.
Uh,
Actual pain.
they had it. They had the ideal, and they were like, "What if we just sold it to NS?" Didn't they sell to NS?
Yep.
Yeah, because
Yep.
that's a good idea. If there's
And
any,
before
was
and before UP abandons that trackage.
did they sell it before or after? That was after NS blew up a town, right?
Yes,
They
Yeah.
learned
that was
nothing.
way after.
They learned nothing.
Another thing to
Nothing,
take into
John.
account is we shouldn't refer to this as UPNS. We should just call it the Union Pacific merger, because that's what it's going to be called.
Well, yeah, but
No,
it's
they're
way
actually
more
gonna bring
fun
back
to
Southern
say.
Just
Looking at
UP.
Union Pacific's track record, every other company Union Pacific has merged with has ended up being Union Pacific.
Yeah.
I can't wait to
I
see
will
Armor
say-
Yellow in
Again, down the grapevine, that Union Pacific has been testing out a UPNS scheme similar to how SPSF did it.
So it's
Welcome,
going to
dog
be
shit.
UP,
Kodachrome?
it's going to be armor yellow and black Kodachrome.
Welcome back,
Nice.
Bumblebee.
B units.
Now, not to say that the UPNS lawyers are going to go waltz into Capitol Hill thinking that, oh, we're going to get this done. It's going to be great. Everyone's going to say yes, and then they're going to get denied. But I feel like when you're painting up units already, I've seen this one before.
Yeah, well, you're setting yourself up for failure, right? This is gonna be.
I've
I
seen this one before. This is a classic.
I can only hope, right? I think the realistic timeline is that UPNS happens, and then BNSF and CSX merge. I know they said they're not going to do that, but like Warren Buffett dies, and the next person to take his place is like, no, let's do it. And then that happens, and then UPNS and BNSF CSX merge, and it's the worst thing you've ever seen.
Well, see, the thing is if that happens, by the point that happens, Genesee and Wyoming will be a class 1.
Oh yeah.
From all the short lines they've cut off and then bought by Genesee and Wyoming.
Yeah, that's
Genesee
the
and
other.
Wyoming will be a class 1.
That's the other
And then
important
they'll
thing
get
is
bought up by UP and entirely abandoned.
a snake eating its own tail. We've got a.
For today's battle.
The more class ones we lose, the more boring the class 1 mantle of responsibility gets, which is really the sad part here. That's the real loss.
See, we're gonna. The thing is we're gonna end up one day doing this podcast, and the mantle of responsibility is going to be 3 railroads. It's gonna be CPKC, CPKC. No, 4. CPKC, Union Pacific, Genesee and Wyoming, and Canadian National.
No, it's going to be CNCP, Genesee and Wyoming, and Amtrak 2 now, or Conrail 2. We can only hope.
See, the real reason the U.S. wants to make Canada the 51st state is so the Union Pacific can buy out both Canadian railroads and have a operating.
I can't wait to see. I can't wait to see Armor Yellow in Toronto. I can't wait to see the new Bumblebee scheme in Toronto. Okay, was there anything else you wanted to cover with the class 1 meltdown, Mew?
I suppose I can mention the downside in the article.
Oh,
If you,
oh, a downside.
yeah, the Sag news, if you want.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, so the second half of that headline is some shops to be idled. Facility reduction, maintenance facility reductions.
Yeah, here we
Talking
go with this
about,
again.
yeah,
No shock
um,
surprise.
yeah. The article names some specific locations that have identified for either reduction or outright elimination, such as Decatur, Fort Wayne, Inman, and Louisville, as well as um, consolidating, quote unquote, their mechanical facilities in like Chicago, Kansas City, New Orleans, St. Louis.
Basically,
Um,
places they just have double shops.
yeah. To be fair, though, the sheer size of the fleet, would it not be prudent to keep double shops just for capacity? I don't know.
They might not need it.
Probably not.
I'll leave that to the accountants to figure out.
Fair.
We'll see. We'll
Now,
see if this merger gets approved, and then what happens.
if they idle the Fort Wayne shop, I'm just thinking a certain group would do well to just yoink it.
Would love to have it.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, hey, I've seen this one before with the UP shop. All right. Anyhow, thank you for bringing that news to our attention, Mew.
Of course.
And you're welcome back on the show anytime. Oh, damn it! He left before I was able to kick him out. I take
Okay.
great pleasure in this.
Oh.
No, we are actually sort of rounding out to where we can get to the end of the show because we have five
Well-
people here and 5 people plus me.
Real quick, can I bring something up about Meridian Southern again?
Sure.
They got new locomotives.
Okay, elaborate.
In the Terminus podcast chat, they got two. I posted them earlier. They got two red GP 18s or 15s.
Oh, hey, we were just talking about GP15s, huh?
Yeah.
Let me see if I can pull these up on the stream so that people could see.
The photo credit is from my friend John Morgan.
I would. Well, Kaiser quickly grabs the photos. I'm gonna very quickly go back. NS's quote unquote Fort Wayne shops is a shed with 2 tracks.
Well, you know,
So
it's better
true.
than nothing.
Yeah.
Okay,
but
we'll
you can
take
see
the
what
structure
they-
and we'll move it somewhere else.
Yeah,
More covered
but, like,
storage.
Oh, it's
I
not
can
even. It
see
doesn't
what
even
I-
have walls. It is a pole barn.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Again, more covered storage.
Yeah, I mean that's true. Put it in cover. All right, yeah, I've got this this red Meridian Southern Railway 676.
Yep, and they got another one too. I think it's 677.
Okay.
6.
And they,
No, I knew it. I knew it. I was like, oh, here it comes.
Bailiff whack his pee-pee.
What is this other the blue locomotives with MDS spray painted on the front?
those are their Conrail units.
Oh, okay.
This picture is from 2005. They don't run the Conrails anymore. They mostly use them for parts. But this is the state they're still in. They use them for switching now in their yard. Fun fact about the Meridian Southern still operates on the first line into Meridian, Mississippi,
Cool.
which is the Gulf Mobile and Northern Railroad. They
a familiar
operate on
name.
the same track, and I wouldn't be surprised if the rails haven't been changed out since they were laid.
You gotta go look. You gotta go check on the side. What does it
No,
say?
I can go drive down there tomorrow and see it. But anyway, like it used to be double track. You can see in the 2005 picture
Mm-hmm.
the caboose halfway down.
Oops. I did see that. I was wondering what that was.
Yep,
Uh,
that is a caboose. And a lot of their industry, well, they still run to Waynesboro for some reason. I think there's a chemical plant out there that they service, but it's they've been getting a lot more like locomotives because they have like the most eclectic group of locomotives. They have a SW, I think they're 1500s or they might be 1200s that are permanently connected together,
Hmm.
that are connected back to back with a drawbar. They don't
Neat.
have couplers on the back, and they're permanently immued together. And then they have a bunch of B-25 or B-23-7s. They have 4 of those. They have a bunch of Jeep 30s, Jeep 40s. They have a GP38. They have a GP18, and they have a GP9, but with the chop nose.
Nice.
So yeah, that they got new locomotives. Yay!
All right, I am. There's a couple of things I wanted to touch on before we start winding down the news portion of the show. Uh, we talked about uh, East. What were you saying about those auto racks again? Never mind. East is gone. There's an article here about CSX, and that's the headline is not about auto racks, but this is related to the headline. Raritan executives said they expected fourth quarter financial results to be negatively affected by lower than expected coal and automotive shipments. So, yeah, I don't know about the UPNS accountants, but it seems like line go down when it comes to automotive shipments at current time, which has led CSX to shut down its aviation department.
What?
CSX had an aviation department.
Yeah, they had a corporate jet fleet. Uh,
Why? Why is CSX somehow the weirdest class one?
it's even
It's
better.
like they had a trucking business, they had jetliners, and then they have a railroad. I wouldn't be surprised if they owned ships too.
Well,
So, Kaiser, about that,
having ships is fairly normal.
CSX did own Maersk at one point.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
Uh, so does anyone want the over under? Does anyone want to take a guess at how long the CSX aviation department had existed?
Oh, I saw.
I'll say
I'm
it
not gonna answer.
predates. It predates the merger that created CSX.
Yeah, I was gonna say that sounds like a very I'm gonna guess 71.
71
I'm
years.
my guess. My
No,
guess
it's
is
in 1871.
my guess was for founding would be 1963.
Okay.
You guys are gonna make me do
I
math.
wonder- No, my follow up question is, does it count the fact that the Seaboard Airline had reserve planes, or is that counting it as a separate thing?
I maybe.
Well, then it would be 1920 something.
The CSX Aviation Department has been in operation for 84 years. Until it disbanded on December 1st. You know when 84 years ago was? 1941.
Oh.
So,
So CSX bombed Pearl
I
Harbor.
was, damn it. Oh, man.
True.
The time from that joke coming into my mind to East saying it was about 0.3 of a second.
Okay, I just want to know which railroad it inherited that from.
That's a good question. I really have no idea. Muse says that's why it was called the Seaboard Airline.
Oh God.
So, it's rest in peace, Keto Butai.
Speaking of,
Japan.
yeah, I just had the thought pull up in my head is I think this is the only podcast we're going to be in between 2 of the 50th anniversaries.
Go on.
So, as I think they're doing a few little events for it over there. but Japan is currently celebrating 50 years since the end of Steam.
Oh,
On December 14th, it was the 50th of the last Steam hauled passenger train, with number 135, C-57, which is currently preserved at the Rail Museum Saitama. And then Christmas Eve will be the 50th since the last freight, with number D51-241, which decided to burn itself in a roundhouse fire several months after.
it couldn't deal with retirement. We've seen this one before.
It took down many diesels with it. So,
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Never mind. You know what I'm thinking.
yeah.
Uh, there.
Um,
I thought you were going to say too, because you posted an article on the Oigawa Railway, maybe like a week
Yeah.
ago. I thought you were going
I'm
to say to that.
I'm surprised that one hasn't done more events because it's 100th anniversary of the Oigawa this year.
Oh, there's a train on the
And
camera. Who could? It's incredible.
oh my
Oh
gosh.
shoot! There's a
Oh,
Finally.
the slideshow's blocking it.
I
Uh,
will quickly state CSX isn't the only railroad with an aviation department.
I'm not surprised.
Norfolk Southern has one too, doesn't it?
Union Pacific has one with
I was about to
three.
say
Does anyone want to guess what one of the numbers for the aircraft is?
Oh, tell me it's not.
Well,
Is it 844?
13.
844. It's
I win.
N844 UP, N845 UP, and N846 UP.
Why
Oh
did
well,
they start
clearly
at
this is some
845?
clearly this is some coincidence, right? This is they definitely didn't do that on purpose.
No,
Hey, they
would
didn't
never.
have 838,
I would-
so
Well, thinking about it too, what didn't BNSF used to have an aviation department that they inherited from Burlington
The
Northern?
which they inherited from the Northern Pacific.
Oh, Northern.
hey East, what aircraft does UP fly?
Random Neojets. Hold up.
Okay, good.
2000
As long as
EX
it's not
jet.
Gulfstream, I'll be happy.
No, they have a 747.
Here, I'll send a photo of what
The
one of them
UP
looks like.
Aviation Department. It's go big or go home. All right. Also,
If
why
I see these
Union
things,
Pacific looking aircraft ever.
for the record, when somebody says, "Oh yeah, Great Northern had an aviation department," in my head it's Zeppelins. It has to be. I don't know why. I don't know why in my head the Great Northern must have owned dirigibles, but in my head they did. Now, and I would like no one to correct me because I'm happy in my ignorant bliss.
lovely.
NS also has an aviation department inherited from the N&W.
They
What I
should
will
paint
say
their
is
they
if
should
I
paint their
s-
planes like 611.
Also,
Oh,
the
no.
Southern. I know the Southern had one for one specific reason.
Oh, I've seen the advertisements for that. They could,
The
you could
president-
put piggyback trucks in the back of their planes.
No, that's not why. The president of the Southern publicly stated he would rather take the auto train to get to Florida than to take the NS business train or to fly.
Oh yeah, I never knew that he publicly stated that, but I was aware that that was a thing that he did. Which is great, which is crazy, it's even funnier when you consider that the auto train ran over the Southern. Ran over the SAL, right? And not the Southern. So it's like he's
Yeah.
just riding a train on his competitor's rails all the time because he would rather do that than fly or ride the business train that can take him wherever he wants and is like top priority in the system. Maybe it's because they couldn't carry his car.
So Berkshire Hathaway owns NetJets,
Night
which makes
jets.
it a cousin of NetJet, which makes it a cousin of BNSF, which can trace its route back to one place. Ellis, you want to have a guess?
Oh God. Is it something ridiculous? Is it like Skunkworks?
No, the corporate flight department of the Pennsylvania Railroad.
Oh, okay, yeah, that does make sense. So basically,
So it sounds
Skunkworks.
like
More money than
every-
Skunkworks.
Yeah, it basically sounds like every railroad has its own plane, has its own like thing.
Except for CSX.
If I
Not
see an
anymore,
order
apparently.
for any of these aircraft in the office, I'm going to die.
Well, I think we know the real reason CSX's private jet, corporate aviation department lasted that long.
Redacted,
Anyone know
redacted,
when
redacted,
Paddington was
redacted,
founded?
redacted. uh, I did want to throw out one more article before
Pan Am
we.
was founded in Key West, Florida. What?
What was?
It was headquartered in
Yes.
Miami. I
Yeah.
knew it
And
was headquartered in Miami, but I didn't know they were founded in Key West.
Next door to Sloppy Joe's. The only thing I know about the only two things I know about Key West is that Sloppy Joe's is there and the ship from the African Queen is there, or boat.
Mississippi Queen. Da-na-na-na.
um, and again, I am sad that we have no Agilies on this podcast because we have we also don't have a dean on this podcast because he got called into work. We have a Tennessee article, which is the first research phase of Chattanooga passenger rail project is nearly complete, says the mayor of Chattanooga, who's his name is Mayor Tim Kelly. There was somebody in one of these articles that I think I just closed out. Oh yeah, the Chattanooga Director of Intergovernmental Affairs and the passenger rail project manager is named Ellis.
Nice.
Does he put guns on people?
What?
Oh God, here we go.
But yeah, so they want a train from basically a train from Memphis to Atlanta that passes through Chattanooga, which is a great corridor to run a train on. It's just a little bit difficult infrastructure wise. They
the
say
Tennessee River is slowly eating the railroad tracks going into Chattanooga.
yeah, they're gonna have to figure that one out. If all the
Well,
funding
I
came
found
together
Rota
today,
Power.
the project would likely wrap in 5 to 7 years, said Ellis Smith. The whole thing proceeds kind of crawl, walk, run. They got a $500,000 grant from the U.S. DOT to, do a lot of studying, I assume. If the entire project is worth $10 million, then Chattanooga will need to come up with $1 million. That is the funding situation. If the entire project is worth $10 million, Chattanooga, alongside other governments, will need to come up with $1 million. Thankfully, this project has been unaffected by recent changes in federal funding, shall we say. But, and hopefully it continues to move along. They're almost done with phase 1. Phase 2 is going to be doing, looking at proper engineering work. Where we're going to need to put sidings, things like that. So, that's a big deal. That's very cool. It's one of many projects that is sort of it feels very grassroots in terms of how they're getting these trains out there, and you want that because if any of you remember my frustrations with the city of Reading, Massachusetts, they finally succeeded in killing the MBTA's project to increase train frequency to their town. They won. The MBTA gave up. There was enough.
Bruh.
There was enough public dissent that the MBTA said, "All right, fine, we'll go do something else with this money. Not worth it." So, sucks if you live in the town of Reading, Massachusetts, or any of the towns between it and Boston, because your chance at getting trains every 30 minutes has been successfully sabotaged.
I hate NIMBYs.
And again, I ask Ellis, why is it always Boston? It's always Massachusetts, and when it's Massachusetts, it's always around Boston.
Well, because there's nobody else in the rest of the state. I was talking earlier to somebody about the spacing of highway exits and how living in Rhode Island is sort of like being in the tutorial area of a large video game. And and growing up here, and then you go into like Western Massachusetts. You go into Massachusetts and things get further apart. Then you go into Western Massachusetts and you see the sign on the highway that's like, "Hey, 20 miles to the next rest stop slash exit slash facilities." And it's like, what? They can do that? Exits can be that far apart? What about the stuff
You,
in between?
you,
And you learn that there is no things in between. There's nothing in between
I
those
mean,
two exits.
or Ellis, that's just an average drive when I go on a trip across the state.
Well, I know, and I know that that's normal, but
Well, because you live in a state that's got people everywhere. There is no wilderness in Rhode Island. It's just people.
well,
The
there's
whole
definitely some
the whole
wilderness.
state is the whole state's Providence.
All right. First of all, uh, no,
I mean, she's right.
mm, there
As
is
someone
the
who's
great.
been to
There's an
Providence
entire.
twice.
There's an entire like third of the state with nobody in it, and I'm not talking about the Bay, because there's plenty of people in the Bay.
Well, no, that used to be towns there, Ellis, and then they flooded.
there's towns under there.
And of course, and the Bay also has all the people that made the government mad in the 20s, and they gave them concrete shoes.
In the 20s? No. This was the 80s under Buddy Cianci.
This was
Uh,
until now, like still now.
It's still going on. Yeah.
Government doesn't want you to know that it used to be Mount Newport.
Oh shoot, Muse back.
Yes, I did want to mention something about the tea thing.
What?
My second thought was, wait, is that why why Rydot sent out that survey? Maybe convince them for increased commuter service into Rhode Island with that extra money?
Maybe. I mean, it's an opportunity to show that the state
Lecture
government and the
5.
MBTA that there is a demand here. The other thing is, I mean, Reading was kind of a perfect storm. It's an old Boston and Maine right of way that currently has one active track on it, but you can fit two. They wanted to put a turnback track so they could turn trains more easily, instead of trying to turn them in the station and blocking up the singular main line. And it's in the middle of, like, the B&M right of way cuts through a conservation area. It may have, I'm pretty sure the right of way predates the conservation area. But there was a lot of the public got a lot of leverage out of that fact. That they're going to be running more trains through the conservation area. They're going to be parking them there. It's going to be noisy, and polluting and yada yada. And the thing that really gets me, which I understand the arguments, but the thing that really gets me about this whole project is that it's a 2-track right of way. The MBTA could have built this track and run more trains without any public comment. They didn't have to do this. They already own the land. So it's a frustrating precedent. I mean, it's good to get public input, but it's a frustrating situation where they could just as well have told the denizens of Reading, Reading, Massachusetts, to pound sand and done what the hell they wanted to do, and legally there would have been no recourse. But instead, we get this. Anyhow, are there any other news items that people would like to bring up before we wrap the show up and move to the post-show? Going once, going twice. Sorry, I need to get myself ready to say that a lot. In that case, I will take any and all guesses for the latest train on Amtrak.
Oh, can I go first? Ladies first.
You may go first. Yeah, let's go down the list. We've got the list still. Oh no, you may not go first then. East, you
yeah,
go
I'll
first.
go first. No, Kaiser can go first.
Empire Builder.
Which way?
I don't know, both.
No, you got to pick one. Flip a coin.
Westbound.
Westbound. Okay.
Ellis, can I choose the latest train on Amtrak?
Do you already know what it is?
No.
Oh, okay. Well then,
How many 41s are on the system?
how many 41s? More than 0.
Is it less than 3?
I I I'm. You got all the answers you're gonna get.
Okay. Give me. Give me 41.
Okay. All right. So we've got the westbound Empire Builder and uh, the southbound Floridian.
Oh damn it! I confused 40 and 41.
Well, Tyler,
Are there any westbound chiefs on the system?
there is at least one westbound chief.
All right, we're going to go with the westbound chief.
Westbound chief. All right, Bender.
Eastbound builder.
Eastbound builder. Okay, so we got both the builders marked off. Mew.
I'm gonna go eastbound California Zephyr if there is one.
Eastbound California Zephyr. Let's start with that. Uh, Eastbound California Zephyr. There are. Oh, hey, look, the Winter Park Express is on the map. There are two, as far as I can tell. The eastern.
Give me the easternmost
No,
one.
you
then.
get both. You get both.
Okay.
The California Zephyr to Chicago is 51 minutes late at Fraser, Colorado, or 1 hour and 5 minutes late at Truckee, California. The what did you want? The westbound chief, right, Tyler?
Westbound chief.
Westbound chief, Southwest chief to Los Angeles, 26 minutes late at Albuquerque, or 7 minutes late at Galesburg, Illinois. Train number 41, the southbound Floridian, is 48 minutes late at Hollywood, Florida, or 1 minute late at Rocky Mount, North Carolina. I think those are the only two Floridians on the system, although there might be another one buried in here somewhere. Or the only two southbound Floridians. I do need to check on a couple of things to make sure that what I call is going to be what I call. So, let's do the Empire Builders. Empire Builder to Seattle, on time at Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And also 9 minutes late at Havre, Montana. The Empire Builder the other direction to Chicago, 1 hour and 10 minutes late at Malta, Montana. Now, I'm going to do some honorable mentions really quick. The Crescent to New York is 3 hours and 35 minutes late at BWI Airport, Maryland. The Floridian to Chicago is 3 hours and 57 minutes late at Alexandria, Virginia. But that is, neither of those are the latest train on Amtrak. The latest train on Amtrak is the Empire Builder to Chicago, eastbound. 5 hours and 25 minutes late at Tumwa, Wisconsin.
Let's go.
I was just say the one time I don't pick the Crescent, the Crescent's later than whatever I pick.
Oh yeah.
Usually I pick something and it's always the Empire. I pick the Crescent and it's always the Empire Builder.
It do be like
in
that.
fairness, you just picked the wrong direction. You would have had a win. The Crescent.
I meant to guess the. Oh, go ahead.
The Crescent picked up all its time between Gainesville, Georgia, and Toccoa, Georgia. Excuse me,
Tacoma.
Georgia. Sorry, no, between Toccoa and Clemson. It went from 3 minutes late to 4 hours late.
Oh, jeez.
101st.
See, the thing about the Crescent is the Crescent always seems to be on time, at least into Meridian, from my experience, when it's going downhill towards New Orleans. When it's coming back the other direction, it's always late by like 30 minutes to an hour.
They've got the gravity assist. Also, the Canadian to Toronto is 5 hours and 8 minutes late.
No, the reason I guessed the wrong Floridian is because the numbers always screw me up on 40 and 41. Because it's inverted on what normal Amtrak is. I knew the Floridian northbound was super late because CSX hit someone on the platform yesterday before Amtrak could get there, so I knew they'd be delayed because of that. And then everything else would just be snowballing after that.
I forget what I'm
Isn't
supposed to
somebody
make this.
on the platform?
Well, I don't know if they committed suicide or they jumped or they were beyond the yellow line. All I know is they got clipped or they got hit by the train.
Oh.
I don't have a standard way to write. I don't have a standard way to write this. Empire Builder Chicago, number 8. 5 hours and 28 minutes late. 5 hours and 20 minutes late. Oh, you know what? I'll fill it in. 5 hours and 20 minutes late at Tumwa, Wisconsin.
It's surprised that the Canadian wasn't later than.
Sorry, Tomah. Tomah. There's no Tumwa. Anyway, all right. Let me wrap up the show, and I will remind everyone here. I assume that we've got 6 people. Everyone can stick around for the post show, and participate. This is the Zombie Train Locomotive Versus in commemoration of the anniversary of the release of the Zombie Train. You must pick a standard gauge steam locomotive which is currently operating in North America. That's the Royale category, and we will return after these messages. The messages in general are, if I can remember how to end the show, that
Will terminate.
well, trading cards coming soon, TM, and there's not really any other maintenance away. I'm going to continue workshopping stuff. Videos are probably going to be spotty until we get to the new year. I wanted to get the trading cards done before Christmas. That's not happening. And otherwise, check out the links in the description. We've got the Discord. We've got the website. We've got something else. We've got the cargoes document where you can see all of the links that we talked about on this show and everything related to it. Of course, like and comment and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Thank yous for joining me. Thank you to Stephen West from the Loco Base. Without you, we would not have Locomotive Versus and the trading cards. Thank you to Virtual Railfan for not sending us a cease and desist, and the train will terminate at this station.